Right now, we've seen significant move in the markets. A lot of coins have done 100%, 500%, all the way to the upside. And that is very cool. But one thing that is very important here is that that very aggressive move that do happen in the altcoin season have not happened yet. So it's still very early. And in this video, I'm going to show you from history what has happened in 2021 and 2017 on two important charts that you must pay attention to and know exactly when that aggressive pump is going to come into the market. I'll be doing this in detail, so pay attention, watch this video all the way to the very end. The first thing to understand is that two charts that you need to pay attention to know when the altcoin season, that aggressive pump in the altcoin season, is going to come into the market. The number one chart is the Bitcoin dominance, and the second chart is the ETH BTC chart. These are the two most important charts, and the first one is very important than the other one. That is the Bitcoin dominance is more important compared to the ETH BTC chart. So let's dive into the first one, which is the ETH BTC chart, and see what has happened before in the past. If you come right here to trading view, I am on the 1 month chart. Look at it at this very point. I am on the 1 month chart, ETH BTC 1 month. And if you look at this very area right here, you discover that this very point was the 2017 bull market. Very important, 2017 bull market. And this was January 2017. And market from this very small candle begin to move upward. So you will notice one thing in the 2017 and the 2021 bull market, and compared to where we are today, you discover that we are already late, okay, according to the timeline. And personally, I believe that things have shifted in the crypto market. Now look at this very point. Market from year 2017 January moved all the way to the upside. This was an aggressive pump all the way upward. Look at the market make this very move from here all the way into this very point, come back down, and then around this very point, that was December 2017 into January, market move upward, and then in 2022 we begin to see the bear market come all the way to the downside. Take note of that this very bull market started around January 2017, okay, and into this very point right here of June 2017 at this very area. That was when we see that aggressive pump between January and June, and the market begin to come back down. If you come to 2021, look at it at this very point. 2021 at this very area, this was where the bull market started, okay. This is January 2021, as you can see right here with this very bullish candle. Remember, I'm the 1 month chart. Market move all the way to the upside. Market move all the way to the upside from this very point in January 2021, and then move up to this very area. That was the first move. That was May, okay, 2021. And then we see little retracement from this very candle, and the market still push a little bit upward. That is into this very area of November, December, okay, before we see that final move all the way to the downside. One thing you must notice here is that in December 2017, at this very point, that was the last leg of the bull market right here, okay. That was 2017 January 2018, okay. Notice something here very important before the market come back down. So in this very case as well, we see market begin to come back down around this very area as well between December 2021 and also January 2022. Look at it at this very point. So we've seen that between December, the bull run year, and January, the next bear season, market do have that shift, okay, in market trajectory, and market begin to come all the way to the downside. So very importantly, and then one takeaway you must have to understand from this very chart is that if you notice the movement here, okay, from this very point, market is very aggressive all the way upward compared to what we saw right at this very point. Discover that this very chart is not that aggressive compared to what we saw in 2017 on price action. And then the next thing here is this very point where the market is right now, because I believe that this very candle, okay, that is forming right now is going to turn out to be a very strong bullish candle, and market, in my opinion, is going to move all the way to the upside and the possible creation of a new high higher than the previous high at this very point. And once this candle close bullish, I believe that is the beginning of that aggressive pump in this very season. Once Ethereum begins to dominate the market, it means that every other altcoin combined, meme coin, layer 1, layer 2, gaming, web3, all of them together, they'll be pumping very hard. You can see a coin do 100%, 500%, or even more in a single day. It's possible we've seen that over time in the market. So from here, I believe the market, in my opinion, is going to move all the way to the upside. And one other thing we need to pay attention to is, if you look at the stochastic indicator chart, it is covered that the market is coming out of oversold condition with this dilation between the blue line and the orange line, which indicate that the market have more capability of moving all the way from here to the upside. And this is one of the things you must pay attention to be in the right direction of the market. And the next thing here is this very area on the MACD. Look at it. Stay at the negative side of the MACD. And once we begin to see that green bar on the positive side right here, and the crossover between the MACD line and the signal line at this very point is also a very strong indication that market is going to pump hard in this very season. So in my opinion, I'm not expecting the market to come back all the way to the downside. Now, one thing that is very key on this very price action as well is, if you zoom out, it is covered that this was the beginning of the 2021 bull market within this very area, okay? And if you look critically into this very chart, it is called something very important, that at this very point was the beginning of the 2021 bull market. From this very point, market moved all the way to the upside. But if you notice, this very price action come back down to grab liquidity from this very point right here on price action, okay? So this market come back down, collect liquidity from this very area, and right now is moving all the way to the upside. So we can say that the ETH BTC chart creates a new low, okay, lower than the 2021 bull market. And that is why markets have to pump aggressively from here all the way to the upside, because liquidity have been satisfied, in my opinion, and markets should have that capacity moving all the way upward. So this is the number one chart you need to pay attention to. The most important chart to know when the altcoin season is going to start exactly is the Bitcoin dominance chart. And it's important because you need to pay attention to it. I'm going to show you why. So the Bitcoin dominance chart is not a chart that shows Bitcoin strength, okay? It do in one way, but what it really shows is the altcoin season. Very important, the altcoin season. So if you look at this very chart, for those of us that are familiar with this very chart, you can interpret it. But for those of us that are not familiar with it, this is how it works. From this very point, it is covered that this percentage increase from zero, this very area right here, is going all the way to the upside. So when the market is moving upward, that is when price action is moving from here all the way to the upside, as you can see at this very point, it means that money is flowing from altcoin into Bitcoin, which creates the bear market, okay? And when this very chart or price action is moving downward in this very case, it means that money is flowing from Bitcoin into altcoin, which creates the altcoin season that everybody desire for. And from this very area, you can discover that this was the 2021 bull market, okay? At this very point, this is when we saw altcoin begin to do amazingly well from this very point all the way to the downside. And at that time, the Bitcoin dominance begin to depreciate, okay, begin to decrease in percentage, even up to this very point of 39.70%. This was where we see a pause around this very area before we see markets begin to go bearish again. So this is very important, number one. Then if you come back again to 2017, at this very point right here. This was 2017 January at this very area, if you can see here. So at this very point, market begin to come back down with the Bitcoin dominance, okay? And then market crash all the way to this very area of 36.85%, okay? So if you look at it from this very point of 100% above around this very area, and then come down all the way to this very point of 36, 37%, then it means that this was an amazing crash. What that means is money moved from Bitcoin into altcoin that create that aggressive pump in the price of a lot of altcoins. The reason why you need to pay attention to this chart is because once we see the Bitcoin dominance chart begin to form aggressive bearish candle in this very formation, it means that something is going to happen on the price of altcoin. And exactly, okay, if you trace the price of many altcoin out there in 2017, what happened? Market began to come all the way to the downside, and on the price of altcoin, market pump aggressively as Bitcoin dominance come back down, okay, because money is flowing from Bitcoin into altcoin, and that will continue till the end of the season before the bear market, as this very price chart is going to move all the way to the upside. Exact same thing happened in 2021. Look at it. We see this aggressive bearish candle on the price of the Bitcoin dominance, and the market begin to come all the way to the downside as well. So right now, look at it. What do you think is going to happen in the market right here? This aggressive pump is already in the market. This is one of the aggressive candle that I see right here. You can see it as well. Since the beginning of the bear market, this is the aggressive candle that is coming in right now, which means money have started to flow from Bitcoin into altcoin. Now, one thing people don't understand is that they think as money begin to flow from Bitcoin into altcoin, Bitcoin will not move again. No, that's not true. Bitcoin is definitely going to move, but what that means is a lot of investors, especially retail investors, will be more interested in buying altcoins that are very, very low compared to Bitcoin that is very, very high, okay? So it makes the money to flow in the direction of a lot of altcoin that give that aggressive pump all the way to the upside. So in my opinion, from this very area, okay, I am expecting that the market begin to come all the way to the downside, and in my opinion as well, it's going to be an aggressive dump all the way to the downside on this very price action. What I mean by dump is that this very price action is going to dump all the way to the downside, and what that means for altcoin is aggressive pump all the way to the upside as well. And this is very, very important. So this is what you need to pay attention to on this very price action, in my opinion. And if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, in my opinion, I am also looking at it in this very perspective. If I go to the 1 week chart, something very important on this very price action is that if the market that we're seeing right now go below this very 60% area, this very area, okay, if we go below this level of important support and the market go below 60%, then aggressive pump is going to begin to come into the market, and that can happen this way because this very weekly candle right here that just closed, so the next candle also have the probability of closing below this very area of 60% on the Bitcoin dominance chart, as you can see right here. So once we go below 60%, in my opinion, we're going to see that aggressive pump in the market, and this is very important. This is what you need to pay attention to be in the right direction of the market, because this is the number one chart you must have to pay attention to or look at to know when that aggressive pump is going to come in the price of many altcoins out there, and this indicates when the altcoin season have really started. So this is very important to all of us as traders right now. Now, one thing very important here is that I am not saying you should go and buy any altcoins, okay? If you want to buy any altcoin, that depends on you. You know your favorite altcoin, you can buy them if you want to. So before you invest in any altcoin, please, you have to do your research. Number one, very important, do your research. Secondly, risk only what you can afford to lose, because that is very important. This video is not a financial advice, and you already know that I am not a financial advisor. And also, you can contact your financial advisor to get more information. Market is going to come back down, and this is going to trigger aggressive pump in the market. And this is my personal opinion. Consider supporting this channel by leaving a like for this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification for more crypto videos like this one. Also check the channel for all that crypto content. Join our Telegram channel, link in the description of this video and also in the pinned comment for more crypto videos, updates, technical analysis, on-chain data, and trading signal. Join right now, link below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.